And if I am unworthy, I can no longer permit myself to be He-Man. Let the power return!
Have you ever wondered why He-Man's power sword looks like someone welded a Viking blade to a computer chip? Half ancient weapon, half modern technology, and half pure marketing madness that defied every toy safety regulation. Well, buckle up, because that gray plastic sword isn't just a simple toy prop. It was actually an experimental piece of interactive entertainment that required 3 different patents and caused Mattel's insurance premiums to skyrocket. People assume it's just another molded accessory with some paint. Wrong. Dead wrong. This sword featured working electronics, required specialized tooling that cost millions, and nearly bankrupted the entire Masters of the Universe toy line before production even started. And trust me, number 1 will expose the insane gamble Mattel took that could have ended everything. So hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and let's dive deep into the most dangerous toy sword ever created. But before we start, if you've ever owned a He-Man toy, drop a comment below. Did you have any idea what you were really holding? Number 14. The sword required 3 separate patents. Patent number 4,857,030 for the electronic sound mechanism that activated when lifted. Patent number 4,923,428 for the unique crystal housing that protected internal components. Patent number 4,891,205 for the grip sensor technology that detected when a child was holding it. Each patent cost Mattel over $50,000 in legal fees and took 18 months to approve. The patent applications were so complex they required technical drawings from aerospace engineers. This wasn't just a toy, it was a technological marvel disguised as a plastic sword. Number 13. It nearly caused an international toy safety crisis. European safety regulators threatened to ban all electronic He-Man toys from EU markets. The sword's electronic components generated electromagnetic interference that affected nearby radios. German toy safety officials demanded Mattel prove the sword wouldn't electrocute children. Production was halted for 6 weeks while engineers redesigned the internal circuitry. Mattel had to create a separate European version with reduced electronic functionality. The safety concerns were so serious that several countries considered a complete ban on all Masters of the Universe products. Number 12. The manufacturing process broke more equipment than any toy in Mattel history. Specialized injection molding machines worth $2.3 million were destroyed during early production runs. The sword's unique crystal required a temperature-controlled molding process that kept failing. Factory workers nicknamed it the equipment killer after it damaged 12 different machines. Mattel had to hire technicians from the aerospace industry to solve the manufacturing problems. Total equipment replacement costs exceeded $8 million before they got it right. No other toy in Mattel's history had caused such widespread manufacturing chaos. Number 11. Real metallurgy was required for a plastic toy. The sword's internal frame used actual metal alloys typically found in aircraft components. Mattel consulted with Boeing engineers to design the internal support structure. The metal framework had to be precisely calibrated to conduct electronic signals. Each sword contained $3.50 worth of actual metal, more than most real kitchen knives. The metallurgy requirements made it the most expensive single component in any Mattel toy. What looked like simple plastic actually contained aerospace-grade metal components. Number 10. It featured technology that wouldn't appear in other toys for a decade. Pressure-sensitive grip technology that detected human touch through plastic. Sound synthesis chips that were more advanced than most home computers. LED arrays that created the power crystal effect using fiber optic principles. Motion sensors that triggered different sounds based on how the sword was moved. The electronic package was more sophisticated than most car stereos of the era. Kids were literally playing with technology that wouldn't become commonplace until the early 2000s. Number 9. The sword cost more per unit than most real swords. Manufacturing cost per sword: approximately $47.80, approximately $130 in today's money. A comparable real medieval sword replica cost around $35 at the time. Mattel lost money on every single power sword sold for the first 2 years. The company had to sell 2.3 million units just to break even on development costs. Retail price was kept artificially low to compete with simpler toy weapons. Parents had no idea they were purchasing a technological marvel that cost more to make than authentic collectible weapons. Number 8. It required FCC approval. Like a radio transmitter, the sword's electronics generated radio frequency emissions that required federal oversight. FCC testing took 8 months and cost Mattel $340,000 in certification fees. Engineers had to add special shielding to prevent interference with emergency radio frequencies. The sword received FCC ID BCG-MOTU-PS 85, making it one of the first toys with federal electronic approval. Mattel had to maintain detailed records of every sword's electronic signature for government inspection. Most toys simply needed safety certification. This one needed the same approval as communication devices. Number 7. The crystal was made from the same material as fighter jet canopies. The power crystal used polycarbonate plastic rated for military aircraft applications. This material cost 40 times more than standard toy plastic. The crystal had to withstand impact testing equivalent to bulletproof glass standards. Mattel sourced the material from the same supplier that made EF-16 cockpit components. Each crystal underwent individual quality testing that took 12 minutes per unit. The material was so advanced that it was actually restricted from export to certain countries. Number 6. It nearly bankrupted the entire Masters of the Universe. Toy line development costs reached $23.7 million before a single sword was sold. Mattel executives considered canceling the entire He-Man franchise 3 separate times. The sword's budget overruns delayed other MOTU toy releases by 14 months. Company stock price dropped 8% when development costs were revealed to shareholders. Only the massive success of the He-Man cartoon saved the project from cancellation. Internal memos referred to the sword as Mattel's Manhattan Project due to its spiraling costs and complexity. Number 5. The sound effects required a team of Hollywood audio engineers. Mattel hired the same sound team that worked on Star Wars lightsaber effects. Over 200 different sword sound combinations were recorded and tested. The final sound chip contained 47 distinct audio samples, compressed into 2 kilobytes of memory. Sound engineers spent 6 months perfecting the power activation sequence. The audio quality was superior to most arcade games of the era. The sound design process alone cost over $450,000, more than the entire budget for most toys. Number 4. It featured military-grade motion detection technology. The sword used accelerometer technology, borrowed from missile guidance systems. Motion sensors could detect 16 different types of sword movements. The technology was classified as dual use by the Department of Defense. Mattel had to obtain special export licenses to sell the sword internationally. The motion detection system was more advanced than most smartphone accelerometers today. The sword could literally track its position in 3-dimensional space with military precision. Number 3. The grip sensor technology was reverse engineered from NASA equipment. Touch-sensitive technology adapted from spacesuit glove sensors. The grip could detect the difference between adult and child hands. Sensors were calibrated to activate only with human bioelectric signatures. The technology prevented accidental activation when dropped or stored. NASA actually requested technical specifications for potential space program applications. The sword could literally sense who was holding it and adjust its response accordingly. Number 2. It required specialized assembly by former electronics technicians. Mattel had to hire 47 former military electronics specialists for sword assembly. Each sword took 23 minutes to assemble by hand. No automation was possible. Assembly workers required security clearances due to the sensitive technology involved. The assembly process was more complex than building most consumer electronics. Quality control rejected 31% of completed swords for failing electronic specifications. The assembly floor more closely resembled a defense contractor operation than a toy factory. Number 1. The sword was originally designed as military training equipment. Let's be brutally honest for a second. The 1985 Power Sword wasn't conceived as a toy at all. It started as a prototype training device for military sword combat simulation, developed under a classified Defense Department contract. Mattel's electronics division was secretly working on motion sensing training equipment for special forces when the He-Man licensing opportunity arose. The toy was actually a declassified military simulator with the weapons training software replaced by sound effects. The grip sensors, motion detection, and electronic feedback systems were all designed to teach real combat techniques. When the military contract was canceled, Mattel had millions invested in the technology and desperately needed a commercial application. That's why the sword was so over-engineered, so expensive, and so dangerous, because it was never meant for children's playrooms. It was designed to train soldiers for actual combat. And there you have it. 14 weird, wild, and downright unbelievable facts about the most over-engineered toy weapon ever created. The 1985 Power Sword wasn't just a plastic accessory. It was a declassified military training device disguised as a children's toy, and it nearly destroyed Mattel in the process. So now I want to hear from you. Which fact shocked you the most? Which part of this military connection blew your mind? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this deep dive into toy engineering madness. And make sure to subscribe for more insane behind-the-scenes stories about the toys that shaped our childhoods.